Good afternoon, everybody. It is just after 12 o'clock on this Wednesday, the 13th of April. Welcome to Central Valley Talk Live. I'm Austin Reed, coming to you from our Tower District studios inside the Mike Briggs building. We thank you for the privilege of your time. Hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Austin Reed On Air. Make sure you stay with us through right around 4 o'clock today. We're going to be in live and local with a bunch of guests, and we're excited about that. Before I bring in my first guest, quick update on your weather. It's cold, right? We woke up again to temperatures in the low 40s today. We are going to see warmer conditions compared to yesterday, upper 60s, low 70s, and that's just going to be the trend through the rest of the week. We'll update more of your weather forecast coming up in just a bit, but let's kick things off with my first guest. Let's bring in District Attorney of the County of Kings. This is Keith Fagundes.
Well, it said Fagundes. It said many ways, but Fergundus will work. I'm not picky in that regard.
I knew I was going to mess that up. I should have just said Keith L.
Fagundes.
There we go.
There you go. Teamwork.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. It's been a while since I've been here, so I appreciate you having me on the show.
Our pleasure. This is my first time interviewing you. I personally want to get to know you. How long have you been the DA in Kings County?
Well, I've been the elected district attorney since 2015. Before that, I was a prosecutor and a line deputy in Tulare and Kings County. So I had 12, 13 years of experience as a line prosecutor, prosecuting everything from homicides, special circs homicides, death penalty cases, you name it, I did it. And then I had a private practice for just 2 years down in Hanford, and then I ran for DA and have been the DA since 2015. I've been doing some good work and a long list of accomplishments. And on a personal level, I've been married 27 years, have 2 beautiful children.
Boys or girls?
2 girls.
Oh, you're
2
like
girls.
me. I've got 2 girls too.
Yeah. So you know what they say: the father of girls has to worry about all the boys. The father of boys only has to worry about the boys.
Right. Exactly.
Nevertheless, been married for 27 years. Beautiful wife. I'm very lucky in that regard. She puts up with all of my antics and all my other things. But at the end of the day, I'm blessed. My extended family, brothers and sisters, are all healthy, and we all made it through COVID and everything in a healthy way. And,
thank goodness, yeah.
So we're still connected, and everybody's still happy and healthy. So that's the most important thing.
I want to talk a little bit about, say, Kings County compared to Fresno County. It's a totally different world. Right?
Some would say that. I know Fresno still has their ag community. Mm-hmm. We are heavily agriculture down in our area, and we go by those old traditional hardworking values that we have, and that whole thing that everybody takes care of one another. You keep yourself healthy, you can keep your community healthy, and you give back to the community when you can. And those are the values of our community, and people should show respect and responsibility and be held accountable when they make a mistake and have the latitude to recover from that mistake and not do it again. Right. So that's kind of our old-fashioned hometown values. I boast that we're probably the last bastion in Kings County for the whole state of those kind of values, because we're not yet infected by all those urban problems that you normally see. So, and make no mistake, we have a homeless issue down there. We have gangs. We have big city-like issues, but we tend to have such a good connection with all of our public safety and community groups that, it's that old-fashioned, we're going to all take care of this problem together. Right. So we're blessed for our community, that's for sure.
So, big news as of right now. We've got an election coming up, June 7th.
It is. It's coming up, and unfortunately, these elections take our eye off the ball because this month is National Victims' Rights Month, and we're doing a lot of things in our community to bring the community together. Mm-hmm. And before I even talk about election stuff, that's just the sideshow these days. Yeah. The real work my staff and I are doing are bringing a good film to the community on April 19th at 6 p.m. at Koinonia Church. It's open to the public, free. It's a full-length feature film showcasing all the dangers and all the problems with human trafficking and all the victimization that goes along with it. So we're proud to bring this to the community, and this goes in conjunction with our LISA project. We have one of 2 permanent LISA projects in the state, and the LISA project is a 4D interactive process that you walk through, getting to know several victims and all the impacts that victimization has had on their lives and how they've recovered from it or how they've succeeded. Yeah. So we have that as well, but the upcoming event that is a one-time event is this human trafficking event that is a full-length feature film that everybody really should come see if you can.
I love here where it says National Human Trafficking Awareness Month. This is a movement, not just a documentary.
Correct. And we've been fighting this. In 2015, I went to a DA conference, and I met a person who worked for the federal government in a 3-letter agency. He told the story that while being undercover for this 3-letter agency, he found a group of children who were being humanly trafficked. And he tried to intervene, and the government said, "Stand down, that's not your mission." That offended him so much that he created an organization and saved hundreds of thousands of kids over the last 10 years. So I was impressed with that. Didn't really know that it was so much of a problem when it comes to sexually exploited children. Right. But human trafficking also spans the labor trafficking as well. But we, of course, focus a lot on the commercially exploited children. And that's usually what we envision. Human trafficking comes in a lot of forms. But we want to bring awareness to it because it is a complicated issue.
Yeah, I remember doing a story, I don't know, this is a couple years ago when I was in Oregon working with a similar thing where they were doing a documentary about human trafficking in Central Oregon. And what really stood out to me was, people think that human trafficking is only happening in major cities, right? Fresno, Los Angeles, San Francisco. It is everywhere.
It is, and it comes in many forms.
Yeah.
In our community, we've noticed it's that 13, 14-year-old age group who are targeted, and they're wooed by what we call the Romeo pimps. If pimp's even the right word to use these days, who knows? But we use it because it's these guys who come in, they woo these young ladies with cell phones and makeup and jewelry and all these things. And next thing you know, they're trying to get hey, why don't we film a movie? Hey, why don't you do this with my friend? Hey, next thing you know, there's money being passed around, and it's a lifestyle. And then drugs. Right. And, if people really knew how deep, the gangs are really doing a lot of the human trafficking because they found that just running drugs is a harder business because the drugs, once you sell them and get rid of them, they're gone forever. But when you victimize a child or a victim with sex, well, guess what? It just keeps giving and giving and giving. Right. So they can really abuse that. So that's why we want to step in. The gangs are really driving a lot of this criminality.
So your experience as the district attorney, are there any cases that really stand out to you that you've had to work on in regards to human trafficking?
Yes, Phil Espenshade, our executive assistant DA in the office, he's basically a sexual assault expert, human trafficking expert, domestic violence expert, and he's been up and down the state lecturing on these topics. So he does a lot of our CSEC, sexually exploited children, presentations, and he's done a lot of these prosecutions. Recently, we've teamed up under a state law that if we do the sting, they call it a sting, to where we'll put out there on social media and see who's attracted to young people. It's advertised they're a young person, and it is a crime simply to respond and to solicit somebody to meet you and to go meet that person via social media when they're underage and things of that nature. So we've done a lot of those stings in our county, and we've made many arrests in that regard. We've also had those folks, again, the Romeo pimp, the guy who's got the girlfriend, and next thing you know, he's in the closet videotaping her having sex with somebody else and selling that. So we've had all those cases. One case, we had a 17-year-old female who was basically the pimp for all of these other young girls, and she was making lots of money on it. So we prosecuted her as well. And they're difficult to root out, but when we do, we hit them hard and heavy. So we sent that 17-year-old to prison, adult prison.
Yeah.
So
wow. Unbelievable.
It works, but it is there. It is in the community, and that's why we want to bring awareness to it.
Right.
Because you're as shocked as I was when I first heard about it. But together, we can really put an end to it, or at least stop it to a certain degree, to then get our footing to stomp it out completely.
And some of the highways that are so notorious with human trafficking, I-5 and Highway 99.
Right. And with Visalia and Hanford right in the middle of those two, there's a large degree of it. I know the Tulare County DA's office hits these stings just as we do, and they're productive, and they're stopping people and having people become noted that this is what their predilections are, and then you can keep an eye on them after that.
Well, again, everybody, make sure you check out California's Forgotten Children, the film screening April 19th, 6 p.m. That's Tuesday at, how do you say this?
Koinonia
Church in Hanford. So, and I do want to just throw out this number. You can always call the Kings County District Attorney's Victim Awareness Line or Victim Witness Line, right?
Correct.
559-852-2640. So,
Right.
and there it is, full screen. Thank you to my director for getting that up there. So, let's talk about the election though, because that is news and it's coming up. What's the latest?
It's your show, so I'll talk about
All
whatever
right.
you want.
Cool.
But,
I do want to hear about it. Yeah.
So, the election's coming up. We've got a lot of endorsements. I mean, hundreds of endorsements. But most notably, we have our California Peace Officers Association who are we have 3 prisons in our county, which we manage, file hundreds of cases and keep those officers safe as well. I have their endorsement as an association and a lot of individuals within the association. Hanford Police Officers Association, the largest police agency in our county. They submit more than 2,100 cases to us a year for prosecution. We also have the Hanford Firefighters Association, which is the largest firemen's group and fire association in our county. And we also have what was that other endorsement? I'm just drawing a blank on it. Oh, the
You have a lot of
endorsement.
endorsements, by the way.
Well, we have a lot of business people, ranchers, farmers, educators, but the public safety endorsements, which is the wheelhouse that I work in, and I've been in for 23 years, that I'm particularly proud of because this year, on their own, without being solicited, without me, I never would ask our prosecutors to give an endorsement in an election because I don't want to take their eye off the ball from what their work is in court.
Sure.
But this year, they on their own came out and said, no, we love working here. We love you as a boss, and we want to keep you. Wow. So they came out and gave me that endorsement, and I was grateful for it. I'm humbled by it because I work with these folks every day, and I care about each and every one of them. We create an atmosphere that is positive and productive and beneficial. The thing we combat the most, like every department in the county, is that our county doesn't pay a lot of money. So we're lucky to recruit people who might be new, who need experience. But recently, we have had a great run at recruiting people with a lot of really good experience. And I'm getting 20-year veterans from Orange County who are retired, who are coming in and saying, hey, I'm going to double dip a little bit. And they're doing great work for us. When I took office in 2015, there was 3,900 cases just languishing in the office, unreviewed, unpresented to the court. Wow. And it took us a year and a half. We had to buy a new computer system. It took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears on my part and my staff's part. But we got that under control. And now the work we have waiting to be reviewed by attorneys and waiting to go to court, being processed by clerical, has come in the last 7 days or so. Now, there are the occasional case that we send back for further investigation or that is just waiting for more evidence. But there's really no backlog in our office. And not many offices can boast of that, but we can. We're one of the few offices with zero backlog. And not only just maintaining zero backlog, but it's fixing the backlog left by the last administration, right, which was horrific. So I was ushered in with a huge amount of support, and we made good on that. Our staff works hard. We carry more cases per capita than most offices do. And, we cleared out 5 homicide cases during COVID. So when everybody else was shut down, we used that time for some really good work to clean out homicides and give people closure. And, we're just fighting the battle every day. These days with the laws the way they are, the catch and release from the jails and the judges being stuck with, zero bail laws, or not quite zero bail anymore, but under Humphreys, the new law, a lot of people are just getting out of custody and not handling their business, which means they're getting more cases. And so we'll have some people that unfortunately stack up 18, 19, 20, sometimes 30 cases to be dealt with at one time. And back in the day, my brand of prosecution is they would get locked up after the second one, so we can clean them up, dry them out, do what we have to do to stop their behavior. These days, nobody wants to do that. So we're stuck with this cycle. And, our prosecutors, we have 6 criminal courts running and a juvenile department. We'll handle anywhere from 12, 13, 14, up to 1,800 hearings a week is what's scheduled. Some of those get continued and they get whittled down. But that's a lot of work for a small staff. Right. So
I want to ask you, because I read a story earlier this morning, I think it was on GV Wire, about Tulare County, which is very close to you guys.
Right.
And they're making a big push on mental health and helping people that are struggling, also helping people that are addicts. Maybe they made a mistake, they got a DUI. What is I want to hear your stance on working with people that maybe they get in trouble, but they've got mental health issues. they make a mistake, they drive drunk. Do you want to work with those people, like you said, or what you were just saying, and help them so they don't make those same mistakes?
Oh, certainly. That would be the best case scenario for everyone is we all make mistakes. None of us are perfect. It's how you respond to that mistake that matters. And so we have, well, in my whole career, we've always had diversion programs and drug treatment. When I worked in Tulare County as well as Kings, those programs were there, drug courts and all those things. When the state law taking too much sympathy, not empathy, but sympathy for some of these folks who are drug addicts, they took away, those programs are, nobody goes to those programs because there's no consequences if they don't. So unfortunately, our drug courts emptied out, our diversion programs are waning, and our judges are now getting a lot more discretion. So they're using their judicial discretion to create and fabricate diversion programs just to kick the can down the street. Okay. What I'm seeing is these aren't helping people. They're not encouraging people or putting them in an atmosphere where they can dry out or be successful at life. So we love second chances. I'm a Christian, and that's what we're all about is second chances, right?
Yeah.
All of us. So I'm all for that, but there has to be a degree of respect and responsibility that the person takes on first. So we have taken, and I've tried to impress upon my staff and our courts that the first step we need to do is agree on what the person did wrong. So we need to settle their case with either a plea of some sort or a trial to find out what it is we have to deter from moving forward, and then work with that person with the probation department to get the social history to find out what's best for this person. And so we've given a lot of opportunities for a lot of people to really change their behavior and make victims whole. And if you can't get somebody to a point of saying, okay, this is what I did and this is why it's wrong, it's called having insight. We used to do it before inmates could get out of prison. You had to show insight into your crime. Showing insight is that first step. Taking responsibility is the first step, and showing respect is, of course, that first step as well. So, yes, we have lots of programs available. We are actually working right now on a family justice center, and we're trying to consolidate the resources we do have, not only for victims, but also for families of crime in general, so that people have a resource to go to and know where behavioral health is, to have a connection with our CPS and Child Protective and Adult Protective Services, to maybe even get with Veteran Services. Our Champions Recovery, our Salvation Army Recovery, we wanted to have them all in one place where people could be handed off for resources and treatment. We want to have a pre-filing diversion program that, especially, this is the biggest second chance we can give is, that guy who gets the 11550, which is being under the influence case. If they're committed to treatment, let's get them into Salvation Army or Champions or someplace
instead of having them sit in jail.
Well, instead of having them sit in jail and miss court appointments, which they're not going to make because drug addicts are horrible timekeepers.
Yeah.
And so you're setting them up for failure, and that's why they end up with 29, 30 cases, which they'll never get out from under when you do fines and fees. So we want to head it off at a pre-filing diversion, give them that option when they're first arrested to go into treatment. If you can beat it for a year, we never file the case.
Wow, that's awesome.
So it's been an idea. We've tried it. We do some DA deferrals now and again on cases that show the respect and the responsibility and that degree of, hey, I want to take responsibility. Right. And, as a 23-year prosecutor, I've always shown leniency for those people who show up, who say, I made a mistake, do with me what you may, I'm pleading, I accept responsibility. Right. Those people have hope. Yeah. Those people you should be giving those second chances to. Yeah. So it's the person who flips their nose at the process, who doesn't take responsibility, blames everybody else, who doesn't show up to court. Those are ones you got to be a little more tough with.
Yeah. So, each case is different.
Right.
So,
right.
We've got about a minute left. This has been a phenomenal conversation. Is there anything else you wanted to say just about the campaign and really just driving down the message on why people should reelect you June 7th?
You know what? We've made so much progress. We brought in the Victim Witness Division. We created a mass victim casualty unit, which will respond to any mass victim casualty we have, whether it be a train wreck, an I-5 or 99 car collision pileup. Some people criticize that for a waste of money, but we're having foresight. We created a child advocacy unit years ago, and that has proven to be so helpful to the kids. And we created a canine therapy unit along with our canine drug dogs.
Yeah.
We have our own public outreach in drug safety and firearm safety, and just so many new outreach programs we've done through our Victim Witness Division and our Investigations Division that it's too long to even mention in 1 minute. But over the last 7 years, we've brought in more than $28 million to the county for resources of victims and otherwise. We've saved over $4 million over the last 7 years. And when the county only spends about $4.2 million on the whole office, and we go generate income for the rest of the office, because we have about a $10 million budget, that's phenomenal work that we're maintaining that all these years. And we have the staff we do because we work hard and because we show progress. We have committed that in this atmosphere of releasing thousands of inmates every year, we send a prosecutor to every one of those hearings to make sure that the parole board hears from us and our victims. And that's a whole monumental task in and of itself. And so the list goes on and on. We implemented digital case management. We're paperless. We're one of the first offices to go paperless in the state. I could pull up my cell phone now and tell you about any case in the office.
That's kind of cool.
In real time.
In real time.
And not many offices can say that, but we do. And we've just made immense progress.
And it helps the environment, too.
Well, it does. We turned actually our whole file room into three office spaces for attorneys. So we've made huge progress. We're going to continue to make progress. I'm confident our voters and our community are happy with the work product we've put out. And we've worked hard. We're open and honest. But anybody can call our office. You can, too. And I'll give you a tour of the office and the operation on a dime on short notice.
All right.
And, so come see our office. Come see our operation. Attend the...
Yes. Let's give this shout out one more time. Yeah, California's Forgotten Children film screening. There it is on your screen. April 19th, 6 p.m. at, say the name of the church. Koinonia Church in Hanford.
Yep.
So, Keith, good to meet you. Thank you for
Likewise.
coming on.
Thank
Appreciate
you for
it.
having me.
Good luck. And if you want to come back, maybe the week right before the election, we'll do another interview.
Okay, yeah.
Very
just
good.
reach out. I love
All
being
right.
here.
Sounds good. Thank you again.
Thank you.
I'm Austin Reed. This is Central Valley Talk.